Hello students, this is a lecture for quick revision for your upcoming unit test. The subject is environmental studies. To start with, what is environment? Environment is everything around us. Everything around us on the earth is considered as environment. It is a part of environment. Environment is divided as in four main types. That is your hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere. Stratosphere is the part of atmosphere, so we will consider it as a one part. So atmosphere, stratosphere, and your biosphere. The very first sphere is hydrosphere. Hydrosphere consists of everything which is underwater. Okay, the part of earth which is underwater is called as hydrosphere. All the living things and non-living things. Also the living things are called as biotic. Whenever the term biotic is used, you have to consider that it is a living thing, and abiotics obviously non-living thing, the opposite one. So all the living things and non-living things in the water makes the hydrosphere. Okay, it is a sphere of it is a part of sphere, that is sphere. Here the earth, it is termed as sphere. It is a part of our earth consisting of water simply. Next is your lithosphere. Lithosphere, land. Everything under the land is your lithosphere. Lithosphere literally means the part of our earth which is made up of solid sand. Okay, sand, rocks, and all. So, what it contains? Obviously, all the abiotic things. There are hardly any living things which resides under the land. Yes, there are some, so that's why I have written here. It is generally consists of abiotic things. Abiotic things such as minerals, metal ores, fossil fuels, which supports the life forms, but they themselves are non-living things. So those are called as abiotic things, which comes under the lithosphere. Now is your atmosphere. Atmospheres, everything above the land is atmosphere. Okay, the air we breathe in is a part of atmosphere. We live in the atmosphere. All the living things and non-living things which resides above the land or above the sea level all comes under the atmosphere. So as I have given here, birds and all other animals which are in atmosphere. Now these are the biotic thing. And what are the abiotic things in the atmosphere? Simply our air, which also consists oxygen, greenhouse gases, etc. Our trees. Okay, these are all abiotic components. Sorry, the trees are biotic component. Abiotic components, non-living things above the land, are considered in the abiotic components of your atmosphere. Now, in atmosphere, I have used the term greenhouse gases. So first consider what are the greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases like CO2, that is your carbon dioxide, CO, carbon monoxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, which causes global warming. Now, how they cause the global warming? Simply, uh, whatever the heat we receive from the sun, Earth's atmosphere has the tendency to radiate it back into the space. But these gases, which are termed as greenhouse gases, they trap the heat inside our atmosphere. Okay, which increases the temperature of our atmosphere to a certain level. It also indirectly we can say it keeps our atmosphere warm enough to survive. Okay, as you know, if it becomes very cold below the 0 degree Celsius, it will be difficult for us to survive, not only us, to many other living organisms. So it is necessary that earth should not be too cold and not be too hot. To keep it warm, this greenhouse gases plays an important role. But as you know, excess of everything is harmful in one or other way. So these greenhouse gases, when are increased above the desired levels, they causes global warming. Global warming is heating up of the Earth's atmosphere, and that global warming causes shift in weather patterns. Shift in weather patterns such as you are now experiencing the untimely raining. कभी भी बारिश हो जाती है. That is the shift of weather timing, weather pattern. Okay, now there is no fixed timing that rain will come in the particular month only. It can come in any month. It's become unpredictable. Why? Because of the shift in weather pattern. which is direct effect of global warming. Okay, now this was the human man-made effects. Global warming is also due to the acid rain. Okay, now what is acid rain? Simply uh, when fumes from our industries, okay, which contains uh, acid fumes, goes into up in the atmosphere. They are combined with our clouds, and when in rainy season, those acids in condensed forms comes back to our land in the form of rain. So that is known as acid rain. Okay, which is the direct impact of uh, industries, which is nothing than human activities. So global warming also includes acid rain, which is due to the human activities. Now next is the part of your atmosphere which is stratosphere. It is simply a part of atmosphere where biotic things are not existing. Okay, now in atmosphere birds and other flying animals, sorry, not animals, other flying living beings fly up to a certain level. Above that level they are also not able to survive. So the level above that, till the layer of your air is available, is known as stratosphere. Okay, simply it is a part of atmosphere where no biotic things exist. It starts above the ozone layer. Yes, now ozone layer you have must studied. It protects us from the harmful UV rays. Okay, chemical formulation for that, or the molecular formula is O3. It is nothing but three atoms of oxygen. The three atoms of oxygen forms ozone layer. It simply reflects the UV rays, or say absorbs the UV rays, and protects us from that harmful UVC ray which is coming from the sun. But nowadays, due to the greenhouse gases, mainly CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, that ozone layer is getting depleted. These CFCs, when released in atmosphere, they go high in the stratosphere, reacts with the ozone layer, and causes its depletion. And as the ozone layer gets thinner and thinner, the UV rays from the sun directly comes into the atmosphere, or say the biotic portion of your atmosphere, and causes harm to same. Now the last is your biosphere. Now the biosphere is not a different sphere. You can say it is a intersection of all the other spheres. Okay, intersection of all the other spheres, but it consists only biotic components of them. Okay, till now whatever the spheres we have studied, all the biotic components from those spheres comes under the biosphere. As the name suggests, bio, that is living sphere of living things, the biosphere. Next topic is your natural resources. As the name suggests, the resources which are available naturally to the human beings is called as natural resources. Simply it consists sun, wind, water, fossil fuels, and etc. Now sun is the main driving force of our environment. As you know, all the earth gets its energy from the sun in the form of solar energy, such as your plants. The photosynthesis is due to the solar energy. Okay, and even you, as we human beings, also get our vitamin D and all the other things from the solar energy. Okay, the sun is the main driving force of our environment. Then water, it is a resource which is highly exploited by human beings. As you all know, in every aspect of our life, water plays an important role, and we use it in a very excess amount if available to us. So it is a very highly exploited natural resources. Then comes your fossil fuels. Fossil fuels consist as coal, petrol, CNG. Now see, these fossil fuels means the fuels we get from the fossils of other living beings, which got buried in earth, or the say lithosphere, millions of years ago, due to the decomposition. Okay, the fossils of those living beings got converted into the potential fuels. We now extract them from the lithosphere and use as a energy resources for our uh, needs. Now, next next thing in the natural resources is they are classified as renewable resources and non-renewable resources. It is a very basic part. You must have studied it from your school days. The natural resources, how they are classified, what are renewable and non-renewable resources. Simply, the renewable resources are those resources which are easily regenerated or is in abundant amount on our atmosphere or the lithosphere or in our environment. Okay, and we can use it reliably, such as wind, water, vegetation, solar, etc. As a wind, which can be used as electricity production by wind turbines, which is available in abundant, and it can be regenerated by the shift in temperatures of various areas. Then water from the river, it goes into the sea, evaporation happens, cloud formation takes place, rain happens, again the river starts to flow, which goes again into the sea. Means it is getting regenerated every year. So water is also regenerated. We can't say the regenerated, it is recycling. Okay, sorry. The term we can use here is recycling. Vegetation, yes, we regenerate our vegetation as per our requirement uh, every season. Okay, solar energy is available in abundant, so these all are renewable resources. Now, what are non-renewable resources? Yes, which can't be regenerated, or say which are in the limited form. Okay, which are in the limited amount, or which can be generated but we have to wait it for the millions of years to form. So that has no point of waiting. Okay, so we can say it as a, it can be regenerated, or say it they are available in the limited amount in the environment. Okay, those are non-renewable resources, which are the very first and the most important example is fossil fuels. Whatever the fossil fuels I have told you in the previous slide, those all can't be generated or available in the limited amount. Now the fertile land. Okay, now fertile land, many of you will say that it is a renewable. Okay, because in fertile land we grow our crops every season, and we can enrich its fertility by adding our compost and all. Okay, but gradually if you will see, the fertility of a land gets on decreasing and decreasing and decreasing, and at last it becomes barren one. So it is considered as non-renewable resources. Okay, so not to confuse in the fertile land as a renewable resources, it is considered as non-renewable resources. Now coming to the alternative. Now as we know, we have the non-renewable resources in limited amount, and if you will look around, you will observe that we are highly dependent upon those non-renewable resources only. We are still struggling with to cope with the renewable resources, or say to make the use of renewable resources. So we highly uh, rely on non-renewable resources. So what are the alternatives for non-renewable resources? The very first is your biogas. Biogas is the fuel from your cow dung. Okay, also the methane from sewage, etc., are considered as biogas. Simply biogas, uh, the gas or the fuel obtained from the biotic waste. Okay, waste from the biotic components of the environment. Then is your biodiesel. Yes, it is the oil from uh, biotic components. Again, here vegetation is your biotic component. And the final one is your atomic energy. As you all know, atomic energy mainly we get from the uranium and thorium. uh, Thorium is not practically used in every country, still the research is going on, but uranium is the primary element for the atomic energy, which is the very important point. Now the very last point for the revision lecture: oxygen, as you know, is available due to trees. Please consider the mistake, spelling mistake of tree. Oxygen is available due to the trees. Now it is not like the trees generate oxygen, but as we respirate we take in oxygen, and give out carbon dioxide. In a similar way, when trees respirate, they take in carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen. So the carbon dioxide released by human beings is converted into oxygen again and given to the atmosphere by the trees. Okay, so this is a very important point to be considered. So this was the revision lecture for your coming unit test. Best of luck for that, and thank you for attending the lecture.